This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. As you've probably gathered, today it's all about this guitar here, this rather fetching Gibson Les Paul Custom. Not just any Les Paul Custom, I might add. This is actually from the Gibson Custom Shop. And if you want to own one of these, then, well, let's put it this way, you probably wouldn't get the price of a curry and a few rounds of drinks in terms of change out of £5,000 for one of these. That's one way you could own one of these, or the other way is you could do what my mate Andrew did, which is to enter the Guitar Gear giveaway raffle, and he won this guitar. Yes, you know, lucky so-and-so. Anyway. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about today. This rather fantastic raffle prize that my mate Andrew won. And before we go any further, you've heard how the guitar sounds in that little demo piece at the top of the video. There is, as usual, a full tab in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing that little piece of music and a jam track for you to play along with yourself. All of that is, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below in the description. Right. Bit more housekeeping. All the guitar tones I was using in that piece were courtesy of the Blue Guitar Amp 1 Mercury edition on the Vintage channel, which, as I'm sure you know by now because I've mentioned it often enough, it has a very sort of Marshall Plexi-like tone. The cleaner kind of sounds was just those same settings that you see there, but with the guitar's volume controls rolled down a little bit. And for the shoutier high gain stuff, I was throwing the new Horseman pedal into the front end of it just to kind of give it a little bit more kind of oomph, to use a technical term. So I'll tell you what I think about this guitar. in just a moment, but let's have a look at some specs and stats. I'll put a link to the full specification in the description, but we'll have a little bit of a look at the headline figures in a moment. But first of all, here are the measurements that I took. You can see it has a weight of 4.45 kilos, so it's a chunky old Hector, but it's it's not a backbreaker really. It's not like I had that Les Paul standard in here months ago that a friend of mine owns, that he got from a guy who got it from Marty Friedman, and that was a real boat anchor. This is, I mean, it's there, but it's not, it's not going to kind of give you a bad back for, kind of after playing it for a couple of hours. So 4.45 kilos, call it 4.5 kilos, nut width of 43 millimeters. You can see the 1st and 12th fret neck profiles there, and the pickups are, the bridge is 13.25k resistance, neck 7.74, and in the middle it's 4.89. So let's just take a look at the actual specs. This is lifted from the Guitar website. Interestingly, you can see that the body there is mahogany with a 2-piece maple top, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't a Les Paul custom supposed to just have a solid mahogany body? Isn't that the historically correct way of doing it? But everything else is, as you would expect, mahogany neck, ebony fretboard, scale length, kind of fretboard radius and all that sort of stuff. The pickups, as you can see there, are, I can't read that on the screen, but it's a 498T and a 490R, so that explains the hotter bridge pickup, which I didn't really notice when I was playing it. It didn't have that characteristic thing of a really hot pickup, kind of over 10k for an old an old traditionalist like me. Anything over 10k is starting to get a little bit warm, usually for my tastes. But it didn't sort of impede me being able to clean the sound up, via the volume control, which was so. I don't normally like overly hot pickups, but that one, it did really appeal to me. Having said that, one of my favourite guitars here, this lovely PRS S2 Standard 24 Satin, that's got a real demon of a bridge pickup in there. That's the, the HFS, which is about 14k. So it just does go to show that you can't always draw too many conclusions from the numbers when you're looking at DC resistance. Anyway, back to this guitar. This is what we're talking about today. It's a beautiful guitar. It's, thick end of $5,000 for a guitar. You would expect it to be beautiful and flawless in every way. And to be honest with you, it is. No matter which way I kind of hold this in the light, as I said on Thursday, a gloss black finish is the most unforgiving finish when it comes to showing up imperfections in the paint. I can't really see any in this at all. It's just it's it's a bit of a sad thing to say, but the finish on this Gibson is pretty much as good as the Epiphone, which costs just over 10% as much as this, 10% the price of this. So we all know Gibson have had, let's say, issues with finishing in recent years, but on this guitar, they are not in evidence at all. The setup and action on it is, as I mentioned on Thursday, absolutely flawless. You could not ask for a better setup on this guitar. I think if you were to try and get the action any lower on this, you'd be essentially trying to defy the laws of physics. Just using the old kind of steel rule here, which I've always used for action measurements. The action on the bass side at the 12th fret is just pretty much bang on 1 millimeter. It is utterly effortless, slinky, smooth and slippery to play on. It's a joy to play. So it's a beautiful guitar, flawlessly finished, sounds gorgeous and is effortless to play. Surely that must mean that it's worth every penny of the nearly $5,000 price tag. Well, I've got to tell you, if I'd won that guitar in a raffle, I would be absolutely over the moon. I would be, utterly overjoyed with it. I was going to say something else then, but I realised, this is YouTube and I've got monetisation to think about. I would be over the moon. I would be pleased as punch. And I would play the living daylights out of the guitar for a couple of months until the novelty wore off, and then I would sell it. If it was my money burning a hole in my pocket, if I had $5,000 to spend on a new guitar, and it was like, what was that Richard Pryor movie where he has to spend that huge amount of money, or, Brewster's Millions, that's it. If somebody said, spend this $5,000 on a guitar, then it wouldn't be that guitar, I don't think. I think if I had a hankering for a Les Paul Custom, I would probably go out and get the Epiphone version, which is a beautiful guitar, and it's about, I think they're about £600-700, aren't they? Or maybe a little bit less. I'm not sure of the current price of those. But, certainly a lot less for a guitar that is going to be 90% as good, really. And, the Epiphone version, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that still just has the solid mahogany body without the maple top. So, if you are into historical correctness of such things, then that might be a factor. So if I had a hankering for a Les Paul Custom, that's what I'd do, and then I would probably go out and spend the rest on, I don't know, Music Man Axis Super Sport or something, or maybe a couple of Eastmans. I've got a hankering to check out an Eastman SB59, so that will be, I think, the direction I would go in. It is a beautiful guitar, this, but unless you are an absolute Gibson fanboy, devotee, and that brand loyalty is strong enough, then I can't see any reason why you would spend that amount of money on one guitar. It's a beautiful guitar, but I think the price, I would struggle to justify it. I'm not going to say it's not worth it, because as long as one person has the money and is willing to pay this much, the price for this guitar, then it's worth it. That is how we arrive at the the monetary value of anything in the world we live in. I just don't think that it would be worth it to me, but it will be worth it to somebody. Coming up on the channel, I've got a couple more videos planned with this. There is obviously going to be a little bit of a comparison between that guitar and this one, my humble Les Paul. This is from the bottom end of the Gibson family tree. This is my Les Paul Tribute, which I absolutely adore for all of its slight cosmetic blemishes that are missing from that guitar there. So I'm going to do a shootout between these two, and then, I don't know, I might even make it a three-way kind of thing between the Gibson and the custom shop and this one here. This is the Sire L7, which is, if I didn't already own the Gibson, then I think this would pretty much scratch my Les Paul itch more than adequately well. So I don't know what I'm going to do at the moment in terms of comparisons, but there will be some, and that's all for the future. But that is, let me stand him up there, that is pretty much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it entertaining and informative in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars and a whole range of other things, whatever crops up basically. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.